All right, welcome back, everyone, to round 4 at the AGE Open this February. Interesting game. I looked away, and then Zane won, so that was cool.
That was a very tight knit game.
Zane's just good at Azalea, folks. So if you want to be good, be like Zane.
Dedicated Ranger main for sure.
Absolutely. Being a little outside of the meta, both him and several other people, but we covered this before. We got a lot of KOs out here. There's a lot of Guardian and a good amount of Warriors. And then Dromai, of course, is just good all around. Haven't checked in on our Kanos yet. I believe some are doing all right, but I'm not sure how close to the top tables they are. But yeah, really diverse meta, including what we have coming up next, which is a Dorinthea, but they're playing the Decimator. Great axe.
Yeah, it's going to be a Decimator Dorinthea. Very different build than you expect, but it's currently at the top table. Both players are 3-0. Moises is going to be the competitor against the Decimator. He's going to be playing Kayo. So you're going to see a cool brand new meta deck versus a very unique angle from Leon. I'm really excited to watch this play out. This is definitely something we haven't seen before in any, I think, Battle Harns or anything. It's a Decimator Dory.
Yeah, I have not seen this deck very much. I know some people who do like Dory have kind of toyed around with it. I think you were telling me that Leon is kind of something he's been playing for a while.
Yeah, I play Leon. He's local to San Diego on Team Humongous, and he usually brings us to armories. I played against it. Leon's a really great guy. Usually plays very patiently and puts a lot of pressure through the Decimator. But it looks like for the KO matchup, he switched to Dawnblade.
Okay.
But has Decimator on the side if he needs to.
Oh my god.
I know. Now
we were so excited for this axe.
We heard the rumors of the Decimator axe.
I saw him play in the last round. I just assumed that it wasn't the kind of...
I think it's for the Guardians because, for people unfamiliar, why people would run Decimator is the first card that blocks it cuts the defense in half.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's really good against Guardians, but KO doesn't block. KO's a Honey Badger. He runs at you. Half his cards don't block. So I imagine Dawnblade will be able to sneak in, good hits here and there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that totally makes sense. I guess in my mind, Decimator wasn't something that you really could flex different weapons with, but maybe that's just how people have approached it previously. And Leon has built his deck in a way where he can lean in that direction, get the value out of it, and then push the game long enough to squeak in that damage over time. So that's pretty cool. But no, we're back to the good old Dawnblade Dorinthea.
Yep.
And if I'd known this, I would have vetoed it.
I'm sorry.
She makes me mad. No, I'm just kidding. It's cool. They're both 3-0. We're getting to that point in the day where this less and less people are going to be undefeated, and Leon actually just beat the previously undefeated Alan Lube, who had not lost a single game at AGE
with the Decimator, which is where we heard.
Which he did with the Decimator. So we did get a little excited, but we'll be back to see we're back to seeing what Dorinthea can do now with all the new cards.
And I think Dorinthea is definitely one of the specialist picks nowadays that people brought. It's not obviously because if you want to play Warrior, people want to play Cassel right now. But Dorinthea has a lot. It's still very strong, I think, in this meta, and it's proving out there in the tables. Not the most represented, but definitely putting in a lot of work. I think with KO, he has good armor, has the fridge, still the same things why Cassel is good into KO. Has things like access of on hits where if you don't block, you're going to get really punished into snowbally events. And that's really hard for KO to deal with. As Brute, you only have a couple of different layers of protection. Apex is definitely great, now new bonus, but a big one is Fleshbag. You got to get through the Fleshbag before you can really threaten anything major. So Fleshbag is going to be huge here into Moises getting tempo. But here is a really good new card. It's going to be called Send Packing, coming straight out of Heavy Hitters. Send Packing is better than Intimidate because it banishes the card in your arsenal face up. So you get to know the information, and you only get that card back if you fully block Send Packing, pretty much.
Oh, nice. That is pretty good.
Send Packing did its job. It got the D-React out of Arsenal, and since he blocked it, it goes actually back to hand, not Arsenal itself. If that makes sense. So it kind of like digs it up, puts it back in the hand. On hit, you don't get it back.
Wow.
It's very, very strong. It blocks 3. It's a yellow. Great card.
And then coming back with the standard Warriors Valor. Is that Warriors Valor? Yeah,
Yep.
into Dawnblade.
Yep. Yep.
On hit, go again. The classic Dorinthea poke for 6. And see what happens if you don't block it.
It's really interesting because, like I said, KO earlier cannot block well, so there gonna have to be some rough trades here. You're gonna have to try and edge ahead in some way or another, and obviously, I think Moises early is gonna try and set up something big like a Blood Rush Bellow. Ooh, No Fear is massive here too. So another new
It's
card.
so funny. I was just looking at that he has 3 of these in his deck.
No Fear does so much for Brute and unlock the M side of the set are amazing for Brute. So No Fear says banish all the cards out of your hand. Whatever that number is, as long as there's 6s plus 2, that's how much damage you're soaking up. So with KO, every card in your hand is pretty much a 6 because of his hero ability. So he was able to negate 6 damage with only losing 1 card and just completely stop the Dawnblade.
That's pretty good. I think the only thing I would be worried about in that situation, he did have one floating. If he had a 0 cost attack reaction, he could get over that 6 and then have go again and then get a counter because you just banished all your cards from hand.
Yeah.
But
I think some require reprise too as well.
oh, that's true.
Yeah, so without having to block and from hand, you don't get as much value. So you'd rather just take it. I think.
Gotcha. Yeah. That makes total sense. Yeah. So if it was a reprise attack action or attack reaction,
Yeah.
He wouldn't
I wanted to. Yeah.
wouldn't be able to do it or get the same amount of value. So, but yeah, it's crazy. You just banish all your cards and then prevent a bunch of damage. We saw this to great effect earlier on with Fuzzy against Alan Lube on KO in that matchup where he just scraped by the skin of his teeth with a no fear play late in the game.
Yeah.
I think we got a judge call. I think maybe talking about whether or not.
How it works with agile windup probably or something. New interactions, new cards. You're gonna have these questions, but things have been going thankfully smoothly. Thank you to our judge out here, killing it
shout out
with
to
70 players.
Connor, who's holding the whole tournament down.
100%.
So he says agile windup.
I think it's pointing at agile windup for some reason. I think it's asking if he know. He's probably like asking if he no fears and goes to end step. Could he probably discard the agile windup at the end? And it's probably a no. Like you move to these come back at the end of your end phase. In which case, you can no longer.
You can't. You don't have priority.
You don't have priority to discard agile windup. So that's probably the question there, which is I think a great question. But now doing KO things. Now he's discarding the agile windup, generating the might token from KO, and generating the agility token from discarding it that agile. Getting a lot of value for next turn, but for now, we're just going to do a quick little claw, get a little riled up, and that next turn is hopefully going to be extremely explosive for Moises.
That's so cool that the instant ability. I mean, I like these instant abilities on cards that do things outside of do alternative things with the cards rather than just playing them for what they do. And then especially with KO, getting that agility token, getting that might token because of his hero power. Both of his hero powers coming into effect there to make this cool synergy. But then Dory does stuff like Steelblade Supremacy, where it will get +1. Is it +1 go again? No, +2 go again and draw a card on hit. Is that Steelblade Supremacy? I used to know these by heart, but then
you stop playing against Dories, but they're coming back. They're always there in the meta.
They're always there, and I just try not to think about it too much. Steelblade Supremacy. Yeah, +2. No go again on the swing, but it is draw a card on hit. So, very powerful card. All the way back to a Welcome to Wraith. Dorinthea, always just making you think about how you block with your cards. And interesting, we were watching Cassel earlier and the kind of differences in how that kind of plays out mechanically and in the play style between the different warrior heroes. But yeah, Dory is just always scary.
Yeah, currently no Gogan on the blade, but that's all right because it has stumped Moises. There could be attack reactions. It's still early. An early flashback. And Moises suspects something in hand, probably like an Ironsong or something that he doesn't want to
Glint, something. He gives you go again, and they could really turn the tide on you. So.
Yep. Oh my gosh, the
Another
other no
no
fear
fear.
coming down. Moises is using all his defensive tools to try and grab tempo early.
Yeah, Scowling Flashbag, such a cool card. I love the intimidation on block. Interesting to see kind of similar or like echoes of that idea in the clash and like the cards where you clash on defense, really kind of playing out in this new set as well. So both his tokens breaking. I'm just going to come in with the classic Pack Hunt, intimidating naturally on the card. We'll be coming in for 7 with Go again, I believe.
A break point.
Or no, was it Vigor? Does he have
This
Vigor
is no, no. This is might in agility.
and Agility.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I only saw it.
KO cannot make figures.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's right. Got it.
He gets the brutes get the might in the run. Still good though. Obviously, big turn coming on after this. I see the card in Moises' hand, which is gonna be Cast Bones, which is absolutely massive. If he can hit all of it, he's KO. He's probably gonna hit all of it. Very unlikely he doesn't, but
Pretty good. Just adds +6 to your next turn, which will put all of the pressure on Leon to try to disrupt Moises's next set of, next hand to prevent that being as impactful as it probably will be. But he is getting a pretty powerful card in block right here.
yeah.
I hate that card. Both for its ability and the fact that you have to buy a beginner set to get it.
Yeah, it's definitely a paywall behind some things. But here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
What do you know? 6. Crazy.
Hit all 6.
Crazy. KO's crazy. Everything's a 6.
So in this situation, right, you see the big turn coming. You know that the KO player is probably going to play a little greedy because they want to pop off with, the cast bones. So here, if you have the hand, you just got to send it, like full pressure them, and hopefully you can snowball enough to where it makes their next turn not as impactful.
Yeah.
And
Interesting that he chose to block with the, was it glistening? What's it calling? Whatever. The majestic one where you just get a bunch of tokens on your Dawn Blade. Because I feel like this would be the turn where you could probably get it because you know he's going to go for it. But it's also a situation where the might tokens mean that Moises can just keep 2 cards and then just swing back for 12 to 14 or something like that, depending on what's in his hand right now.
it's definitely true, but it seems like Leon is going to be taking it in and hitting Moises maybe for the second Dawn Blade. The first one, you're always like, cool. And then the second, like, man, I don't know if I want that break point on that Dawn Blade.
Yeah.
And that's making it really hard for Moises to here. Like you said, he could keep 2 cards, no problem, and still create a massive turn, but nice. Pack Hall. Pack Hall triggers. Beast Within stays. Cool.
All right, here's a question.
Ironsong response.
I don't know
Ooh.
if you know, but does Apex work against a weapon that's been buffed? So if the Dawn Blade's coming in for 6, does Apex trigger? Because it says a card.
When this defends together with a card. No, it has to be
with
on here.
oh, okay, sorry, I read that wrong. Yeah, so he has to block with a card and that, which maybe he just.
It would be. It has to be a natural 6 though. KO only gives +1 to everything in your hand and deck.
Oh yeah,
Not the
totally,
board. So if he blocks with that and a 5, KO doesn't see that as a 6. If that makes sense.
All right, so just a 12
CNC.
CNC with Go again. Just your average day at work.
Thankfully, no arsenal.
Yeah, no,
We
he's
cleared it. We cleared the arsenal.
take 12. There he goes. He's just taking 12.
And we're balling right now. So Leon was playing very conservative in the beginning and kept that extra health. And now you're at a 5 health differential here. It's not horrible, but he can still keep that Dawn. The Dawn Blade did get a counter, so it's going to be progressively harder for Moises to block efficiently. And he has 2 no fears gone already and a flashback. So his defensive tools are running a little slim currently.
Yeah.
Moises is looking to start running at him as much as he can.
Yeah, when you see a warrior take that amount of damage and have a counter on their Dawn Blade, you do have to work a little bit because he's got all the tools he needs, apparently, to get this snowball rolling down the hill and getting out of control, which is just... There's a certain point where it just becomes unstoppable, which is the scariest thing about Dawn Blade. And you always have to be managing that side of the game as well.
All
Yeah,
right.
Dorinthea probably doesn't care about the copper. I don't think she ever has.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing she can use copper on.
Yeah. So miss trigger, but we won't miss it very much. Here we go.
Moises says, "My hand isn't good enough to threaten. I give you." So this is how you, back in the day, or now that's how you stop at Dorinthea. You say, "Here's a massive wall you can't get past, and I'm going to end your turn here." If that makes sense.
And then they play Twinning Blade
Yeah.
and something else to give it go again, and you just get killed anyways. But here we go. We get a Stroke of Foresight. So +3, draw a card, then put a card on top. Which, oh god, he drew a glint. So
He drew a glint. He has a Blade Flurry, which
good.
is like disgusting. If Leon can get past this, Moises can't do anything.
yeah,
Moises already gave up Flesh Bag. Already, boom. There's a glint. Since he's blocking, he draws the card. Reprise. We talked about this.
yep.
Blade Flurry. Just had it. Oh my gosh. Blade Flurry with an Ironsong response.
So I think he's coming in for 13 or something.
13?
Or is Blade Fury +2?
That's crazy, man.
Fine.
So Blade Flurry is +2 to that attack and the next.
Yeah, I think he was just over the top there. Yeah, pretty
Yep.
crazy.
And it still has the mana floating, plus a Blade Flurry buff to come in. Gonna get another counter if Moises can't block this out.
Yeah, coming in for 6. He potentially can block 5 with this in his Apex. I mean, I guess he could give up his tunic,
yeah.
which honestly at this point might be worthwhile to stop this counter from happening. I don't know. That's pretty.
Man.
That's pretty rough.
Moises tried playing safe. As safe, honestly, I'd have done the same thing. Here's 3 cards. Stop. Here's a giant wall you can't get past, and Leon just had everything he needed.
Yeah, I mean, it do be like that sometimes for sure.
All right, no blocks on Moises. Good call. Gonna take another 6, closing that gap.
Oof. And we got 2 counters on the Dom Blade. Leon over here showing us that Dorinthea is still pretty good.
Yep. Play what you love, and you will be rewarded. Leon has been playing Dorinthea for a very long time. One of his favorite heroes in Flesh and Blood. Definitely has a lot of reps on this deck.
All right. So Moises drawn up, passing his turn, and Dory back doing her same old-ish.
Yep, and now Leon has the tempo. Moises gave it up. Last one was not successful. But Moises has a very fun card, which is Blood Rush. Moises says, "Now here's every card that blocks.
Yeah,
I need to get these. I need to get these off,
Yeah,
right?
But here comes the route. So.
Oh, route's so good. Oh my gosh.
This
Okay, there's a route. Moises is laughing, having fun. Moises has been on the other side all day, 3-0, just honey badgering people with Kayo, and now he's feeling having a good time against a Dory from WTR.
Yeah, Dory's like, I know how to get you. I just poke you with this long, sharp stick, and then you die.
How you doing, Colin? Any flashbacks to your early days yet?
Honestly, yeah, this is nothing's changed. Really, Blade Fury is just another line, another item in a long line of gross things, atrocities committed against me and people who don't like warriors.
Definitely learn how to block against warrior is a skill.
Yeah. That's the thing. You think, okay, I let them get one counter and they'll block out and they'll be okay, but it's just they can draw it so not easily, but it's so possible based on the numbers and what they have in their deck, and that like everything really just pumps, and they don't really have to worry about not having cards that pump. So it just makes it harder and harder, and then you have things like Steel Blade Supremacy, so he's going to keep drawing cards, and it's just.
And then the counters with the vigor, because he's using the new chess piece, grains. Yep,
Spell, yeah.
vigor, and he has the arm pieces to create courage tokens. He is able to generate so much value on board. 2 blues and a yellow pitch, drawing cards. Man, Dory's good.
Dory's pretty good.
Dory's pretty solid in this meta right now.
I hate to see it. But there's not a lot of them, I think, we only had, I think there was only one Dory out there. And I think Leon might be the sole representative of this classic W2R hero
Boom,
who's
boom,
been,
boom.
traumatizing people like myself for years. Tokens cracking, turn passing. Yeah, that's
Oh, breaking new tokens, the little ones. Look, oh, he's got little sleeves for the tokens. That's cute. I didn't even, Moses is laughing at that. I didn't even know they made sleeves that small.
oh yeah, they do for all sorts of games. I do like the little mini tokens. It was a good idea. There's so
Definitely
many
fun.
tokens in this. Yeah, curious about that. Chat talking about not sure how that had go again on the last one.
I'm sure something happened in
I
communication.
thought it was something in the reaction step.
Yeah, yeah. They'll figure it out. They'll work it through. Um, both players are in charge of each other's counters. No one caught it, then nothing apparently happened. That's how Flesh and Blood plays.
Yeah, I don't try to police these things.
All right, so we have Steel Supremacy, right? Was that?
No, it's glistening. No, that's the other one. It's the steel blade. God, no, silver. No, what's it called? Songs.
Quick, quick quiz. What card is that? Which Pokemon? Um, but it doesn't get the
Singing steel blade.
yeah, Singing Steel
Song,
Blade.
yeah,
A route
I don't
off
know
the
the
top, fetching from here. Moises cannot putting his whole hand in front of this Dawn Blade to try and stop this monster piling up, but Leon having fetches to get the route, put cards back in hand, push pressure. Man, KO does not enjoy
Give me the
blocking.
cast bones back. Come on.
I put the cast bones back in my hand, man.
I promise it'll be okay. Yeah. Oof. Gross. Yeah, this is not looking great. I don't think Moises is gonna be able to block this out again. So what do you do in this situation? Do you try to clap back? Do you just stop blocking? Is that even a possibility? I don't think so.
So you're
'Cause
at
I
20
think I can
health.
kill
right?
you if you don't.
You're
do
at 20.
it.
You have some gas in the tank. At some point, you just have to take it on the chin
Yeah.
and be like, I'm going to try and get tempo. If you can't do it at 10,
Yeah.
you have to use the health as a resource at some point, especially if you're behind. At least that's my perspective when I'm playing. I'm like, well, you did a great job at circumventing my block, so now I just have to just run at you.
Yeah, these players do look like they're having fun. Shout out to Moises for taking it like a champ.
Yeah.
Because it's not, it's very easily the most unfun thing to be on the other side of this kind of onslaught from Dorinthea.
Thankfully, both players in the community, well known, very nice players. We're always here having fun.
Yeah, that's the reason we like it out here
Yep.
at the AGE. Just a lot of familiar faces, a lot of new faces,
Yep.
but just good vibes all around. People playing and learning and having fun. So that's 4 counters now on Dumb Later.
That's so many counters.
He's like, Kayo, you like sixes? How about a six power sword swing? Crazy.
I don't think I've ever seen this many counters on Dawnblade. I run removals in my sideboard just for this scenario.
Yeah, I've definitely been on the other side of something like this, and then I'm pretty sure I didn't
Dory's
handle it like Moises did.
Dory's real strong.
God, Ironsong determination. What about dominate now?
Would you have conceded by now?
I might have. It depends, If I was on stream, I wouldn't. I would play it out, but I definitely would not be smiling. Ryan over there enjoying this because he loves Dory.
Right, there's a lot of Dory believers. Ryan is also doing pretty well with Dory in this room. We have a good amount of victors. We have a good amount of KOs. I think Dory's gonna be real strong in the meta for sure. Definitely a
could
big
be.
player.
Yeah, we'll see. As things kind of smooth out, people usually like to play the new heroes because it's fun. Learning new heroes it's part of the joy of a game like this.
Yeah.
But as things start to take shape, could be that Dory actually is the most powerful. Although we've seen, we got Cassel out there doing really well. We got at least one Olympia, but I haven't heard anything other than that, so probably not making too many waves out there. But it's could be Dory's time. And then if she LLs, I won't be mad.
You start going back to armories.
Yeah.
Like, finally.
I still got to deal with Dromai and I guess Kasai now forever. So
Yeah, Kasai is definitely warrior up tremendous.
yeah, absolutely. Which is the I was excited and dreading this set because of it. Although I've made, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna learn a bit of Warrior. I'm gonna play it a couple times
Hmm.
just to get a feel for it. I've always just been anti-Warrior.
Definitely provides a lot of insight, playing the other side and allowing you to see oh, this sucks when this happens, so maybe I should do that next time when I play against it. Always ask to borrow a friend's deck or, hey, you want to switch decks? It's a really fun experience. I suggest trying.
Yeah, definitely. If you're struggling with something and you have the time and the friends to do it with, it's great to switch decks, play it on both sides, get feedback on both your side of it and understand the other side. But I don't know if this is a soft concede right here. Moises did not block. It does have dominate, but he will die now.
Possibly. It all depends what's in that arsenal. But I think Moises is doing what I said earlier. You have 20 health. You had some room
Yeah.
to try and just ignore what's going on and try and go for the tempo grab. But Leon's still having some armor up, still having his headpiece up. Moises giving up his armor super early. These factors definitely mattered.
Yeah. Scowling Fleshbag is such a, I think that's a very high skill block choice.
Yeah.
Because it it can either be the most impactful thing or it can just block too sometimes,
No, definitely.
And you either need to know what's in their hand or have the read on them, which is hard to do. So yeah, here we are with 5 counters on Dawnblade.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to discard the
Wind-up?
Agile Windup, make our agility token, and then
It should be a might token as well, right? Because of KO?
yeah, I think Moises might be on the tilt a little bit, missing some of these triggers and stuff, that's the hard thing. That's the thing you got to learn in a tournament like this is to maintain focus on all the things that you're responsible for understanding.
All the triggers and stuff. And that's a big thing I always preach to players and people who come out. It's like you're going to have a fun time, but you're also going to get practice what I call underneath the lights. When you go play underneath the lights or on stage, that adds another layer of nervousness or just just kind of disheveledness, that where it's like, oh, I messed up in situations I wouldn't, but if I'm going to be doing good, I need to be able to practice at this level.
Yeah.
So both these players, 3-0, if they were at a traditional battle hardened, they would definitely eventually hit the stage and will get those nervous feelings. But it's okay. We're here up here laughing. No one's too serious, We're here to learn and have fun and play Flesh and Blood together. And that's all you got to realize once we're on there,
So, did that hit? I think a humble hit.
Okay, so I guess KO, you only get the might activation on your turn. That makes sense. Thank you.
Oh, that's right. He did at the end of.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
So
okay.
he get it right away. Yep. Thank you, chat. You guys can read the cards better than me right now.
Well, I wasn't totally sure it was Moises. I thought it was Moises' turn already when he did that, which makes more sense to do it at the end of Leon's turn. But yeah, he did turn off. I think he turned off Dory's hero power with that humble.
Yep.
But I don't think it matters anymore.
Not with this many. It was 1, 2, 3. There's a lot of Cheerios on there.
We got 5. We got Spoils of War. We're coming in for.
It's like here's a block. Here's 9. Yep. Here's the Bone Breaker.
And that's.
He
good.
just says, I just GG. I don't believe in whatever was gonna happen.
He might have a no block in his hand.
Yeah, we're just gonna see courage. Oh, because it had go again. So he's like, here's all this, so you couldn't do it. Here's go again. Here's a no block. GG. Congratulations, Leon. Definitely the early game was a little rough, a little slidey on the surface, and then Leon found the hand, was able to punish Moises on a hand where he gave everything up.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think, honestly, I feel like he allowed it to happen, which is always the first mistake, which you can't tell. Some, Dory can draw potato hands. I think we're at the point where you talked about earlier, it's kind of the Lexi situation where she just has so many good cards. So it's likely that she's not going to have many bad off-turn hands. So you really can't hope that that's going to happen and allow them to get that first counter, because every time you do, unless you have unmovables or anything like that can really stuff their turn, once they get high enough, you can't even block everything out anymore, which is just terrifying. And then you're just kind of slowly losing the game.
Yeah.
And then again, he had that choice of, do I try to pivot, take some damage, and just push back? And I don't remember what he had in his hand that turn, but he started blocking, and that's when he dipped down kind of closer to 10.
Mm.
Then I think is comfortable to try to like do that anymore, and then you just kind of don't have any choices left.
Chad has some interesting perspectives too. When he full blocked that first initial, that big turn where he had it all. Like if Moises would have blocked maybe with his arm piece, he might have got the extra value there. If he would have gave the full thing, it's so hard to block warrior.
Yeah.
I'll keep saying it, and you continue to have that experience. There's going to be doors in your meta. There's going to be Kassai's. So getting with a friend, playing those casual games, laughing like they were, and figuring out, going up, I should have blocked here, should have blocked here. That's how we learn. That's why we're here. That's why we show you guys, so you guys don't have to make that mistake later on. You get to learn from that, and just enjoy the game.
Yeah, and now you have to worry about two different warriors at least that are playing slightly different. You got to block slightly different, and really kind of learning that. Luckily, it seems a lot of the same powerful cards, so you are familiar with what's going on. Dory, of course, is gonna be more interested in the reprise cards. Getting stuff that empowers Dawnblade, and then Kassai kind of doing something new and scary in her own right. But yeah, both requiring different kind of blocking strategies, which is difficult in itself, and then just having to do it over and over again because they're getting popular.
Yep.
We're in for a rough season if that's the case. We'll see.
Definitely a lot of learning. Come out to your AG, go out to your armory, get your practice in.
Yeah.
We're gonna get Leon up here though in like 5 minutes. Colin, I appreciate you casting.
Hell yeah.
Today.
Always a pleasure. We'll be right back and see you soon.
Hello, we are back. We're here with Leon. Hi, Leon.
Hi.
Great game. First off, congratulations on the win.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course, of course. We'll start off a little bit with where are you from, man?
I'm from San Diego.
Nice. How long have you been playing?
Born and raised.
How long have you been playing?
Since Uprising. So, going on 2 years soon.
Crazy. Time
Yeah,
flies.
very, very fast.
Nice. And nice jersey. You're on
you.
the team too.
Yeah, humongous. He let me have one of these.
Nice. That's awesome. You got a lot of friends here with the jersey on. It's always great to carpool and have that camaraderie coming up to compete. We're gonna talk a little about Dory.
Yeah.
How long have you been playing Dory?
Ooh. Better portion of maybe like 6 to 8 months.
6 to 8 months. Nice.
Yeah.
How you been liking her?
I've been liking her a lot. I really liked her. I liked her before when when I first started playing. I built Dromai and Dory, and I like Dromai and I like Dory. And then recently, this past 6 to 8 months, I've been really liking Dory. She's been feeling particularly rewarding.
Oh, she definitely looks rewarding if you can get her to
Yeah.
go off for sure. The Dory list you had before, because I played with you at armories and stuff like that. It seems like it's transferred. Not too much has changed since Heavy Hitters besides maybe the Blade Flurries and stuff like that. In that transition to this meta that you've been playing currently with 3.0, how does it feel from being the Dory player then to the Dory player now?
Feels like I did a bunch of steroids. Like before, all my matches really felt like I was struggling to win. And every single one of my wins really felt like they were I had to work for them. Right? So I was playing when Lexi was at full power after Outsiders, and that was difficult. But again, every time I won against her, I had to fight for it, as opposed to like when there's one particularly meta hero and then they just sweep all the rogue matches, and they don't. It's just there's only certain matches that they have to focus on. Dory really feels like a hero that you have to focus on everyone. Everyone can beat you.
That's scary.
Since then, things have changed. Yeah. So the introduction of Ironsong Versus and the Decimator Great Axe definitely changed a lot of things. And that gave her the power bump to be viable. I think Versus and Axe made her completely viable. And then Heavy Hitters came out, and then now it feels like she's juiced. Like
Super
she feels really, really strong.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you kind of forged through. We were all there for that Lexi meta. We were all there to kind of that was the big bad. That was the deck, and through that through that grind and that practice and preservation, you're able to be ready for this meta. And it's really interesting. The build that you have is originally, we're hearing rumors. You before you were on stream, you played against a Victor and you had a Decimator. That's the big thing I want to highlight here.
I played against a Bravo,
Bravo,
not a
okay.
Victor.
Oh,
But
yeah, he
I
was
played
a
against Alan Huang, Lube.
Yeah, and Luke.
I played against his Bravo.
Yeah.
And that was a very grindy matchup. I definitely had to use literally I would say every tool in Dory's arsenal I had to use. It went down to like a very grind, very fatigue, and he made a very risky play line, but it was his only play line to win.
Yeah.
And I had the punishment for it, and yeah, that's how I was able to get there.
And that's so cool that your list. So originally we were expecting Decimator. I didn't think about it on this match you just played, but obviously you side in. You have kind of a hybrid list. You side in Decimator for those grindier matchups because Decimator can cut through that, and obviously for Kayo you just do the Dawn Blade because he doesn't like blocking.
Yeah. I don't like to call this a hybrid list.
Okay.
Mostly because it is like 78 Dawnblade Dory cards.
Okay.
And then there's 2 Decimator cards, one of them being just the Decimator.
Mm.
And I first started doing that back in Dust right after it came out in Dust Till Dawn because we had a couple Riptide players, and Riptide was virtually unbeatable against Dawnblade Dory because everything that I did, there was a D-react that punished me for it with 1 point of damage and something else.
Yeah.
So if I gave it a buff and attacked with it, I did Spoils of War, gives it +2 and go again. So 2/3 of their D-reacts are going to deal me damage, and I'm not going to get the hit because he's going to block out.
Yeah.
Blood Rot Trap was particularly devastating. Not that it's particularly seen a whole lot of play.
Yeah.
But after that happened, I was like, well, what happens if I just take out 1 puncture for a Great Axe? And then against Riptide, I just play the Great Axe. And then that matchup went from unwinnable to basically almost unlosable. So that was kind of very it was like a weird kind of polarization. So
Yeah, that's crazy that one card does
one
that.
card changes my entire play style.
That's absolutely insane and so efficient because you don't have to sideboard like I said, it's not a hybrid list because you're just playing the Great Axe for those correct matchups, which is a super cool discovery. I don't see a lot of Dories doing that nowadays. Let's talk about now the game we just played. So very interesting game. It started off hot and heavy. He had the no fears. Every time, and I think you could have done more, but you saw that like, oh, he has no fear, so I'm just not gonna press it. And then he used the flashback early.
And I was very much able to capitalize on that. I think he could have blocked with his boots on that turn instead, because I think I didn't have like a good follow up. I think it was just like a arsenal. I think it was like a D-react that I was gonna arsenal anyways.
Yeah, but he assumed it was something else, I think.
Yeah, so I was able to scare him with the. I think there was like 1 counter on it at the time.
You're threatening the first counter, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was able to scare him off with the counters,
Yeah.
and that just helped me set up for the following turns.
It was crazy swingy. So he did that. He played the cast bones. C for 12. Take it to the face, just right on the chin.
I had a really good hand.
No, I saw the really good hand.
I think I was up by like 8 or 9. I wasn't up. I was up by a little.
Yeah.
It was like 32-39, I want to say, and then
Yeah.
I went down to like 22 in that one, or 21 in that turn. So like I just figured, I have a lead of 8, and I think I can return not 8, but if I can return a hit and possibly a counter. My win condition isn't dealing enough damage, it's gaining enough momentum, gaining enough counters. So that first counter, that second counter are very much worth 8, 10, 20 life even.
Yeah, no, it's true. And thankfully for when he hit you at CNC, you didn't have an arsenal at that time, so it was just
I did it. Yeah, that's right.
Just 12 vanilla, thankfully, in a way. And then right then there, the game froze in my head, and then that's when like the anime protagonist mode came out, and he's like, all right, so I need to buy myself a turn. I'm gonna give you like most of my hand and some armor, and then you just had it.
I was able to go over. I had just enough to go over.
Yeah.
And it would have. Yeah, I think Yeah, I just had just enough to go over. And then it was just setting up setting up, hitting next turn, and then hitting next turn, and then hitting next turn
Yeah,
until it just runs out of control.
that blade flurry was insane.
It was
The
ridiculously good.
blade flurry was so good.
Again, so like in part before heavy hitters, I was running Out for Blood, which is like diet blade flurry. It cost,
Yeah.
it cost 3 on the front end, 1 on the back end. It's just not as impactful. So you were talking about how she feels now in heavy hitters. Taking out the Out for Bloods and replacing them with blade flurries just makes her feel so strong.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Blade flurry is massive buff to all warriors out there, super juiced. Um, so after that happened, you were able to grab tempo, and then how did you feel from there? You felt like you were complete control, just had it after you just kept giving you hands, and you could keep going over.
Yeah, I run D reacts into Kano because I want to be able to filter my hand, be able to know what I'm coming next turn, while also protecting my life total until I can finally have enough counters to cash in my life and then swing out. So I
Just snowballs from there. You got your counters. It's so massive. He has to give you your hand every single time, and he just slowly loses it. It looked like from the audience perspective and from my perspective, you guys are having a blast. It seemed like.
Oh yeah. So his first language is Spanish. My first language is Spanish.
Oh, nice.
So we were actually playing in Spanish, and we were having a good time talking about stuff.
That's great.
Almost my entire deck is in Spanish.
Oh, okay.
So I was showing him like check out
This
check
guy.
out the boots, they're in Spanish. Check out this CNC stuff like that.
Yep.
It
Yep.
was we were having a good time.
That's awesome, and that's super great. You know, you come out, you get to meet people who have things and things you relate to and things where you come from and stuff like that, and have that fun conversation. Even though it felt, most of the time, as Dory, it feels bad, but it seemed like you were just learning, having fun, and that's I think the true spirit of Flesh and Blood at the end of the day. So a big thing we're always talking about the entire time, and it's a great topic of discussion, I think, is how do you block against Warrior? And I don't know if you want to give me too much of the secrets, right? But giving you the whole hand every time is that always the play? Obviously, it punished him here because you had the right hand, but does that always just prevent you from doing anything or popping off like that?
It's difficult. It's difficult to say, right? Not because I'm just trying to hold secrets, but like because it feels like the right play, right? I have 3 counters. I'm attacking for 6.
Mm-hmm.
It feels irresponsible, and you know that the Dory player is gonna have things in hand to buff,
Mm-hmm.
to give go again. So it feels irresponsible to just not it just feels like the right move to be like, all right, I'm gonna block with for 12 or 10,
Mm-hmm.
and hope that's enough.
Gotcha.
That feels like the right play, and it generally is. But Dory also has ways to punish that.
Mm.
So you have to. There's a lot of the game is played not with the cards, but with movements and trying to figure out what's in their arsenal. If they didn't play it last turn, does that mean it's a go again card that they had an excess? If they had excess go again, you arsenal that. So maybe it's just a go again card and not a buff.
Mm.
So there's a lot that you have to feel out as opposed to just the right play is to block 12 and armor for 16.
Mm-hmm.
That's not always the right play. It can be, but there's just so much that happens on the table that it's so hard to answer that question.
In that part, that's understandable. Just trying to help give some knowledge, me not being a Dory player and some maybe Dory players, not Dory players, how to combat that in its upcoming meta, because we're probably going to be seeing Dory. I've seen a lot of Dory, including herself, doing really well in the bracket against KOs. They can play against Dromais. They can they can pressure victors well enough if you have those routes lined up and things like that. So she's definitely a good threat in this new emerging heavy hitters meta. Is there any advice you'd give to new aspiring Dory players out there who saw your performance and be like, hey, I want to try this at my local armory? What's the first thing you would say to get them started?
So Dory's generally like it's a hero that like a lot of new players pick up because she has a pretty low ceiling, right? Her turn generally consists of attacking with the weapon and then doing stuff. So you know what your initial play lines generally are. So it's a lot of like learning the fundamentals of the game through Dory.
Mhm.
And if you haven't played Dory, I guess my best advice would be to look to really learn, because there's a lot of moving parts in Dory, right? Her hero power turns your weapon into twice per turn instead of once per turn.
Mhm.
So the go again is very important. So don't shortcut. A lot of times people just they'll attack with the weapon, um, and then once they hit, they'll shortcut to the next attack and then forget about go again,
Mhm.
or they will. Um, or they'll forget about her ability, giving it making it twice per turn, and trying to understand all the little parts that go into the game that Dory's pushing the mechanics to the limit of.
I think that's pretty good advice. Take your time. Don't be too greedy. Um, we're running out of time in the round. I appreciate the interview so far. Is there anybody you want to shout out, say hi to
Uh,
before we go?
I'd like to give a shout out to my girlfriend, April Miller. She is uh,
Out there.
in the field right now.
I
I believe she's also 4031.
think it's a 3-1 or something. Yeah, yeah.
I haven't talked to her last round, but
Yeah.
she's doing great. I'm doing great. I really hope I don't get paired against her.
Oh, that would be a rough ride home.
Because I lose or I sleep on the couch. And
Well, I mean, it's great you guys are out here. Thank you for coming. Thank you for showing, making the drive, and supporting
Thank
the
you for having
community.
us.
Of course. I'm glad I could help break your stream loss
Thank
record. He was so nervous. I was like, "Hey, you want to go on stream?" He said, "I always lose on stream. I'm sorry. I don't. Please
do this to
don't."
me.
I said, "It'll be fine." And look at that. We had a really great game and go back and learn from. So thank you again. You guys will be right back with the next round in a couple minutes.